some way to help them. And I told them, and believe it or not, I told them when I was on the council that someday there will be a full-time position, with paid position too. And it's not a bad thing, because, you know, especially what JFK does, because what JFK answers the calls for Edison, and I know the national average is 8 minutes. They're there less than 5 minutes. And that's what you want. You want to make, when you need them there, you want to make that phone call and make sure they're there to help you and get you through everything. So, thank you, Alex, for coming here this evening and representing the emergency medical services throughout our county. My son is an Edison fireman, so I'm very proud of what he has been able to accomplish in his life, and as part of this emergency services. First, before you become an Edison fireman, you have to spend 2 years to volunteer, and there's a long process in order to be a paid fireman. But it's a great accomplishment for anybody who wants to take up these services and provide for our communities. But thank you, Alex, once again. If you want to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Very kind words. It is a very difficult profession, and thank you very much for acknowledging this, especially for the week that's coming up. On behalf of all of the EMS responders in the county, thank you very much for this. Okay.
We have correspondence.
Yes, each commissioner is to be provided with a list of correspondence received by the clerk office since our last meeting. This correspondence will be kept on file in the office of the clerk of the board for reference.
Is there a motion to accept the correspondence?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes.
Board of County Commissioners regular meeting, April 21st, 2022, at 7 o'clock p.m.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
County Commissioner Escobar Barber?
Yes.
County Commissioner Coppel? County Commissioner McCollum?
Yes.
County Commissioner Tamara?
Yes.
County Commissioner Director Rios?
Yes. Reports of commissioners. County Commissioner Bella Barber.
Thank you, Director Rios. Tonight, we recognize May as Older Americans Month. This year, the theme is Age My Way. Middlesex County includes growing community of older Americans who deserve recognition for their contributions and sacrifices to ensure a better life for future generations. We celebrate the strength of older adults. May also is the Mental Health Awareness Month. It is observed to increase awareness about the importance of mental health, reducing its stigma and celebrating recovery for mental illness. The COVID-19 pandemic has increased anxiety and depression worldwide. Middlesex County offers access to care for adults, children, and families seeking services for mental health. Please visit the county website for more information on services. The annual Replenished Food Security Awareness Dinner, Dine Below the Line, is back in person. This year with a cooking competition between 3 of our food pantries, local food pantries, that will showcase healthy eating on a budget. This event will be held on Thursday, May 12th at 6 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church in Metoche and streamed virtually at 7 p.m. Please visit the events section of the county website for more information. And that concludes my report, Director Rios.
Thank you. Commissioner Leslie Coppel.
Yes, thank you, Director. A new electronic procurement platform. In keeping with the county fiscal strategy of using the latest and greatest technology available, the Middlesex County Purchasing Office has been working with open.gov in the development of the county's electronic procurement platform. This new platform uses internet-based technology for the electronic solicitation and submission of competitive bids, proposals, quotations, or qualifications. This software complies with all the requirements of the New Jersey wanting to conduct business with the county will be required to submit their bids and all required documentation through this platform. Bids will be opened electronically on the site on the date and time of the bid opening. Some benefits of the service include reduced costs for both the vendor and the county, improved collaboration with all county offices, improved efficiencies by streamlined workflows, reduced vendor errors and rejections of bids, the ability to evaluate and award multiple bids in a timely manner, and access to a larger bidder pool to obtain the lowest bids possible. The purchasing office is currently in the final testing stages of the system development, with plan to go live later this month. If you're a vendor and are interested in enrolling in this new platform, please contact our purchasing agent at 732-745-3277.
Thank you. Commissioner Chanel Scott McCollum.
Thank you, Director. I'm happy to report that Congressman Frank Pallone held a press conference today to announce a new workforce training program at Middlesex County Vocational and Technical Schools, a vision of our late Deputy Commissioner Penny Armwood. To address food insecurity by infusing agricultural education and community service. Due to the efforts of the County Office of Public and Government Affairs and Congressman Pallone's office, the County Vocational and Technical Schools have been awarded $300,000 in federal funds to support an agricultural sciences program that will focus on agricultural and seed industry workforce development that will help train the next generation of farmers and fishermen. From the Arts Institute of Middlesex County, the Arts Institute will be celebrating History Day at the East Jersey Old Town Village, located at 1050 River Road in Piscataway on Saturday, May 14th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will be a variety of activities throughout the day. Please visit the county website for further details. The Arts Institute is pleased to announce that the First Fridays program is coming back at Monument Square Park, located at 2 Livingston Avenue. This week's program is in collaboration with the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center. We will have live music, pet giveaways, caricature artists, and more. From the Office of Career Opportunity, the Office of Career Opportunity's Elite Youth Program has assisted 27 students in obtaining their high school efficiency equivalency since September 2021. Out-of-school youth between the ages of 16 to 24 are encouraged to contact the Elite Youth Program Office for more information about our programs. Please visit the county website for more details. I would also like to say Happy Mother's Day to my colleagues on the board and to my colleagues that are out here, and to all the residents of Middlesex County, so Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Director, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Charlie Tamaro.
Thank you, Director. The American Battlefield Protection Program. I'm happy to announce that Middlesex County has received a grant from the National Park Service, American Battlefield Protection Program, for $1 million. This is the second grant we received from them. We received another grant a couple of years back for another piece of property in North Edison, too. The award helped us to acquire 7.5 acres of McCutcheon Meeting House Battlefield in North Edison, which was a critical site during the Revolutionary War. The permanent protection of these 7.5 acres is an important accomplishment as we prepare to commemorate the 250th anniversary of American independence in 2026. Conservation Corps volunteer events. I attended the first volunteer event of 2022 on April 9th at the Raritan Bay Waterfront for the annual beach sweep. We send our thanks to 331 volunteers, who, by the way, we were the second most volunteers in New Jersey for that day, who came out and volunteered to help clean up the beach. We collected over 2,000 pounds of litter from the shoreline. If you missed that event, join us for the spring event at Thompson Park on May 14th. We will be working with the Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Middlesex County to help spruce up the park, rain garden, and hiking trails. More information about our volunteer events can be found on our website. Our Kids in the Park program. If you have a child who is interested in theater, I recommend checking out our Kids in the Park and Teens in the Park programs. This summer, the theater workshops are held at Warren Park Amphitheater in Woodbridge throughout the summer. Kids in the Park will be putting on a production of Disney's Aristocrat Kids, and Teens in the Park will be working on Music Man Jr. Registration is now open, and more details and information on these dates and times are available on our website. That concludes my report.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to wish all the mothers, my colleagues, a happy Mother's Day, and all the mothers out there. It takes a special person. The Lord bless those mothers have children, and it takes a special. Mothers are mothers, and you only have one mother, and everybody should respect and take care of their mothers. I first would like to provide an update in reference to our efforts in finding new homes for the animals in Johnson Park and the establishment of the infrastructure necessary for East Jersey Old Town Village. The following transfers are complete. A family of 5 goats to Tanner Lane Sanctuary in Montague, New Jersey. Miniature horse to orphan animals in Glen Gardner, New Jersey. 4 rabbits to Bailing Twine and Hope in Frenchtown, New Jersey. We've identified an excellent location for the raccoons and red fox, and are waiting for final approval from the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife for this transfer. Site visits to new locations are currently ongoing, and we anticipate additional transfers early next week. The preliminary concept plan for the Animal Heritage Program continues to be refined for implementation. The quote and schedule for from the fencing contractor is still pending. However, we anticipate work for the fencing to be complete in early summer. As far as transfers pending, 3 raccoons and 1 red fox waiting for approval from the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife to transfer to Last Resort Wildlife Sanctuary in West Milford. 7 rabbits, 8 fallow deer, hopefully 6 flags, Great Adventure. 13 white-tailed deer, hopefully 6 flags, Great Adventure in Thompson Park. Burmese python setting up transfer next week to Next Level Exotics in Lacey, New Jersey. Family of 5 goats, bull python, 2 iguanas setting up transfer to New Jersey Freedom Farm, Mays Landing. And 11 hens and roosters have commitment from New Jersey Freedom Farm, but no transfer until we are out of the avian flu pandemic, and that's hopefully mid-summer. Remaining animals from Johnson Park for East Jersey Old Town Village will be 2 standard bred horses, 3 goats, and 6 roosters. Okay. Mr. Kelso, any resolution to be added?
There are none.
Any resolution to be amended?
There are none.
Resolution to be held?
There are none.
Any resolution to be voted?
Yes, we are reading resolution 22-625 as indicated at the agenda meeting at 6 o'clock.
Okay, there's no action needed now, right now. Okay, at this time, I open up the meeting to the public on any resolutions listed. Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Charlie Craneville, I'm a New Brunswick resident, editor of New Brunswick Today. I wanted to ask first about number 624, on page 3, expanding the marketing services contract by $250,000. Curious, why we're spending so much on marketing and accounting. I know it's a great place and we want people to come visit, but this is pushing $4 million for one single firm. This firm is not a New Jersey firm, correct?
Just they're planning on opening an office here.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, can you tell me what we're getting, return on investment? So far, we've worked with them before.
Well, first of all, this is a mutual benefit for all our municipalities, for visitors to come here and frequent our restaurants, our other businesses, come and see our different performing arts centers that we have, come and visit our parks. So it's a win-win for us, where it creates jobs for our residents, and it's just a way of us supporting our local economy here and our residents and businesses that can showcase what we have to offer. Mr. Palomino, would you want to add to that?
In addition, as part of our economic development program, as you know, the 3 emerging markets that the county is pursuing relative to autonomous technologies, food science and life sciences. All those efforts are really to draw those businesses into the community that will stimulate job growth, and we're running education programs with that. One of the other things too that I mentioned earlier when it came to this development marketing organization, previously we were spending close to $5 million a year across all of the departments
consolidated that effort under one office. And as you can see, we stay with the same framework of spending for marketing.
Can you tell me, does this firm or its executives give any campaign money to you, sir, or your colleagues?
I don't know the answer to that.
You're not sure if they donate to you. I'll have to double check, but I think I did see some donations to at least some of the elected officials here. And yeah, it's my understanding they're based in Atlanta, Georgia, so it just seems like an odd choice to spend a bunch of money. If you're creating jobs, you're creating them in Georgia, for now.
We're creating jobs here as well with the marketing piece, with people coming to visit us and come to work here, whether it be through the hospitals that we have or the other businesses that we have here.
Okay. Well, just say that New Brunswick today is a great place to advertise. If you're looking to get the word out, we're always at your service. Thank you.
Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Yes, Danielle Morris.
Can you speak a little louder, Danielle, please?
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore, Somerset Street. My first question is for 658, where I see that you're renting the parking lot out at Johnson Park. Could you please tell me what part of Johnson Park parking lot? Is this close to Landon Lane Bridge or the other side?
I believe it's the one right across the street. It's right across the street from the Greek Orthodox Church when they have their festival.
Well, as I told you before, honestly, I told you you shouldn't even really be accepting applications to reserve your park due to where, but when I told you how high normal tide comes in already, well, we're supposed to get 4 days of rain. And the last time we unflooded Johnson Park, Wood Park flooded 2 times already. We have not had a major storm. That's only two inches of rain where Johnson Park was underwater. And I say, wow, pray that you do be able to do it. But like I said, when the water comes in high tide like this, every time it rains, it's going to continue flooding. You're going to see more flooding. So like I said, I say you're taking a chance on even renting the spaces, even for barbecues, due to where you know that's a serious flood zone. And I proved to you why already, due to where the ground has risen and it's causing the tide to come in. We're going to see it bad. So like I said, I hope you do take my advice. Last time I told you the next day you saw Johnson Park underwater. Did you not? Not going to answer?
Danielle, let's talk about the resolution.
Well, that is the resolution with you telling people renting out the areas, and you know that's a flood zone. You don't know if the area is going to be underwater or not. So, like I said, I think you really should limit on with your reservations of Johnson Park to where, like I said, I guarantee you, sad to say, you're going to see much more flooding, and I have proved that to you already. Then the other thing I would like to speak on as far as with the homeless, I see with 637 and also 638 to help out with homelessness. Can you tell me how this money will be divided throughout the county? Is it which township has the most homeless? Due to where I say, wow, New Brunswick is outrageous with homeless, due to where you still have 30 to 50 people living right behind you where they're working, building the Lincoln Annex School, still haven't been evacuated. I showed you the pictures where how many people are living in tents down at the Raritan River, and due to where you see them all through the train station, George Street. 45 years I've been in here. I've never seen nothing like this in my life with New Brunswick. So how is this money going to be divided throughout the county?
Megan, can you answer that?
So I don't have the specifics on how Coming Home's going to spend the money across the county, but we can get that for you. So we have $1 million in funding across 52 agencies for these support grants, but I don't have the specifics on how to.
Well, the way I say that you really should investigate it, like I said, due to where I say you should, with every township or city in Middlesex County, I say
check the area to see how is the count on their homelessness due to where, wow, I can tell you what, a lot of places, North Brunswick, Highland Park, Edison, they don't have much as New Brunswick do. So I'm not saying New Brunswick is the only one, but I guarantee you, out of Middlesex County, New Brunswick is the worst one with homelessness. And that's sad to say, that's because we have a sorry mayor who needs to go. It's time for Mayor Cahill to go. But like I said, come on. I pray, like I said, you do it the right way and really look into it to see where the money should go the most, not really divide it.
I'm sure that's being addressed as we apply for different grant funding and as we support grant funding for different communities for homelessness. But Ms. Davey will get you the information.
And my last thing is due to where I'm seeing some things for Middlesex County. I'm not sure.
Which resolution?
623, where is that the one for vocational school? No, excuse me, that's the wrong one. But my question is, any
Time's up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Kelso, does anyone have to vote separately on any resolution?
Yes.
Which one?
22-691, 22-692, and 22-693.
Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Kelso.
Mr. Director, a motion would then be in order to adopt a consent agenda consisting of resolution numbers 22-621R through resolution 22-694R, excluding resolution 22-625R to be voided, and resolutions 22-691, 22-692, and 22-693 to be voted upon separately.
Is there a motion? Motion to adopt the consent agenda. Roll call.
County Commissioner Escobar Barber?
Yes.
County Commissioner Cobble? County Commissioner McCollum?
Yes.
County Commissioner Tamara?
Yes.
County Commissioner Director Rios?
Yes.
Now, Director, would be appropriate to consider the resolutions which were excluded by Commissioner Scott McCollum, and that's 22-691, 22-692, and 22-693.
Is there a motion to?
Second.
Roll call.
County Commissioner Escobar Barber?
Yes.
County Commissioner Cobble?
Yes.
County Commissioner McCollum?
Present for abstaining.
County Commissioner Tamara?
Yes.
County Commissioner Director Rios?
Yes. Okay, at this time, I open up the meeting to the public. Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Janet Ratliff, I'm from Somerset, New Jersey. I wanted to revisit something that was touched on at the last meeting regarding the enclosures at Johnson's Park. I have a printout here of some very specific enclosures that the zoo advisors have recommended that you put in place. I don't know if you're aware, when the USDA did an inspection there in January, they found 4 goats huddled and shivering. They didn't even opt to go into their enclosure because they didn't get any heat from there. And they cited that as a problem. You had stated that you will see what you guys can salvage from the original Johnson's Park. They also recommended an indoor facility for quarantining your vet care, electricity and all that. And I wanted to ask and also encourage that you follow, spend $250,000 on the assessment if you would be willing to spend the proper funding to get them proper enclosures so we don't have to deal with goats shivering or animals freezing in the future.
Well, that was the purpose of the assessment by French and Perillo and by zoo advisors. So we plan on following the guidelines and recommendations that they both made to us.
Okay.
When we move those animals over to the East Jersey Old Town Village.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. Another thing I wanted to touch on, So you said you were bringing Maggie the cow, the Dexter cow, from Merrill over to Old Town, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you're aware of this, but cows are social creatures. It's actually a terrible existence to be in solitude, like the one is currently living. I'm asking you to take that into consideration. Obviously, the popular decision would be to not bring him there at all and put him in a sanctuary. But if that's not something you're willing to do, would you consider rescuing, not going to a breeder, but rescuing another needy cow so he is not living in solitude? Because if you research it, you will find it's a cruel existence. And the way Maggie is living now is cruel.
Well, we'll take that into consideration to either move that Maggie cow to a sanctuary or keep it there, and if we have to get a meat, if that's in the best interest of the cow, and we'll, obviously Rick will follow up with the zoo advisors, and if that's the case, we'll work accordingly to that.
Okay, that's awesome. Let me just look through. You also stated, I know you're not going to breed, but you would consider bringing in other animals in the future. And this is something I can't stress enough. The one thing that I did appreciate about Johnson's Park over the years was you originally did take in needy animals. And that's just an awesome thing, being an animal rescue. Unfortunately, for the long term, it wasn't the best outcome for them. If you're in a situation where you choose to bring more animals in, would you strictly consider only rescuing and not getting animals that are bred specifically for this? And if you want to set a great example, suppose these kids and everything love it so much, what a wonderful example to set to just strictly rescue. There's too many needy animals out there that get euthanized and live in hard situations.
My recommendation would be to this board that we keep the minimal amount of animals over at East Jersey Old Town Village and not bring any more in.
Okay.
And,
Okay, that's
and
great.
Obviously, I'm not an expert in an animal historical program, but that would be my recommendation to the board, that we keep the minimal amount that's there now that we anticipate.
Right, okay. I don't mean to cut you off, I know I'm on a time constraint. Other thing is, can you guys have a website detailing the animals, you've seen all the other sanctuaries do, giving them names, maybe their history, letting people, go on an actual website and see who these animals are, how they're treated, that they're treated well, if there's a problem.
Well, I have to talk to Mark Onside about that, who is not here tonight. But Rick, if you can convey that message to Mark, please, and see if we can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name's Sonia. I'm from Highland Park, New Jersey. I guess the first thing I wanted to ask about was
Sylvia?
Sonia.
Sonia?
Correct. The first thing I wanted to ask about was for the French and Perello report, what was the final cost of that? Like, was all the money that you allocated spent?
It's still ongoing. It hasn't been completed. I think it was 1.25.
Yeah, I think 225, yeah. Okay, so it's still ongoing at
So you know the answer already.
225 was approved.
Okay.
But that's, okay, so I wanted to know what the final amount was, but it sounds like it's still ongoing, so none of us have the answer yet. I wanted to ask if the county was open to having an oversight committee for the Old Town Village.
No.
No, why is that?
Because we're elected to make decisions up here in many ways for many programs and services. And we have staff, we have administration that works for us. And obviously they work with the different programs and services daily with their staff, and we will make those determinations, but no, we're not gonna have an oversight committee.
Okay, you're not concerned that it's the same administration and staff that it was in September 2021 who didn't get the animals out of there? Not a concern?
No, we're not gonna have an oversight committee.
Okay. I wanted to know if the county, I know you mentioned earlier when you spoke that where all the animals are going. There were a couple of goats that you didn't mention. Can you go over that again?
There's 5 goats that we already transferred.
Yes.
A family of 5 goats that we transferred to Tamerlane Sanctuary.
Yes. There's also, I know, a mother goat and 2 boys, and then a mother goat, an older girl goat, and 2 baby siblings who you had not mentioned in your...
We have 5 goats still that are pending transfers.
Okay. Where are they going to?
We're not sure yet, are we, Rick?
No, and location has not been yet identified.
Okay, for the remaining 5 goats?
Correct.
All right. I also know that Janet asked about this, but I wanted to ask about Maggie the cow for the husbandry program. Did zoo advisors say anything about a cow, you know, being in solidarity without other cows? I mean, I'm sorry, like solitary without other cows. Like, did they recommend that the one cow specifically be alone? I find it hard to believe that they would suggest that.
I mentioned that earlier, that we're gonna look in to see if we should bring another cow in to be a partner with that cow, or be a friend or companion.
Would you consider having that cow not there though?
And, or, you know, transfer the cow to a sanctuary.
Okay, thank you. I just have, I guess, one more question. I wanted to know if you had started looking into creating focus groups or any type of community groups for what to do with the space at Johnson Park that will soon be open.
And if we're looking into,
Like, if you're looking into, will you be creating like focus groups, or how will you be, you know,
no,
soliciting feedback?
we're gonna be working on that within our own parks and recreation staff, making recommendations to us on what we'll do with that.
So the community won't have any input? Correct. Okay.
We're elected to make decisions here, and that's why we have staff in different departments to make these recommendations and oversee the operation of all departments.
Thank you.
Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Ashley Hartwig of Highland Park. So I want to sort of continue what Sonia was saying about an oversight committee, and not just that. We actually would like to ask for a lot more transparency when it comes to these animals. The reason is we know that people have worked with the Parks Department for 20 years. According to zoo advisors, the report from zoo advisors, there were serious ongoing problems in that place that just continue to get worse over years. They were downplayed, ignored, denied, not even just the flooding, but also the lack of timely veterinary care, the public feeding, the conditions of the enclosures. All of these things worsening and just sort of complacently being run that way. We don't want, you know, we know that we're gonna have this new husbandry program. We don't want to have to do 7 months of attending these meetings again.
You don't want to do what?
We would prefer not to have to come to these meetings for 7 months trying to get these problems addressed. That's why we're advocating for more openness with this new program, so that when problems start to happen, they can be addressed right away. What we saw with the previous facility is that they were not addressed. The opposite of that happened, where they were downplayed and denied. That's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for everyone. So we ended up having to have this whole stink about it. We don't want to do that again. So that's our reasoning for that. We're not going to say you're not the ones making decisions. We're trying to prevent the problems for everyone. Towards that, we think it would be a great idea to have security cameras in this husbandry program. I think that's one of the things that zoo advisors recommended. If there are security cameras, which you really need them, I think it was an acknowledged concern that not only are people throwing food to the animals, and I can throw food 10 feet, so even if it's 10 feet, people can still get food to them. People can also throw in poison, they can vandalize the animal facility, so we think there need to be security cameras. We would also ask for those cameras to be live streamed on the website. That's something very standard that rescues do, sanctuaries do, all sorts of animal facilities do, and it's something that people enjoy, and it's something that I think would help people get to know the animals that are there, become interested in them, develop bonds with them. You can have your kids watch them. So it's not something to be defensive about. I think it's a good thing to maybe broadcast the cameras of these animals. So we wanted to ask about, there was a mention that the concept of what's going to happen at the Old Town Village is going to be refined. We were wondering what specifically is being refined about that plan.
This is a work in progress.
Right.
So, as we try to create the infrastructure there and or structures there, that's how we're going to go along with what zoo advisors and French and Perillo recommended to us. So we're concerned about making sure that there's no access from the general public to go there and either throw things, because we're concerned that we don't want to see somebody just on the opposite side of the issues trying to throw poison or bad things for the animals, whether they're chicken legs or potato chips, whatever. We're trying to avoid that. We're making every effort to make it accessible for people to see, but not be able to reach them. So we're taking that all into consideration, and we're well aware of that.
Okay. As part of that, so we are wondering, is there a disaster plan already in the works that's in a written form we can see? Because we're already in hurricane season again. A hurricane can show up here any day or any week. Has that been written in a written form yet that we could see?
I think that's a work in progress. Am I correct, Rick?
Yes, it's work in progress in as much as that we've taken the existing plan and applying those elements towards the new site.
Okay, we'd love to see a copy of that plan. Is there now a horse trailer for those horses if they had to be evacuated?
Working with Rutgers University, we have access to them in their horse trailer, as well as a couple of other vendors that we've reached out to, as well as procuring an additional one for the county.
Great. As far as the staffing issues, that was another part of the zoo advisor's recommendation. Will there be extended staffing hours at the husbandry program, more than what is currently happening in the Animal Haven? I think it was recommended, or at least it's standard, to have 9 to 5, 7 days a week at a minimum, but there should be someone on the site at least 24 hours a day.
That's something that we'll have to take into consideration at this point.
As far as veterinary care, yet another thing called out in the zoo advisor's report that the animals are
Time's
not.
up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, yes, before I come up and start my time.
Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Well, I don't want to use my time. Is the remote up there for me to get started?
Please
So,
state your name and address.
like I said, once I get my remote, I'm not going to have you kill my time when I'm standing up there. Thank you. Come on,
Please state your name and
let's not
address.
get ready for another bite, okay?
Your 5 minutes is ticking away. Danielle Moore, please.
Then, please to you, I have the right.
Okay?
And like I say, due to where, come on, what a sorry mayor we have with the sewage and drainage here, with the pipes over here. Come on, you see a sewer line, there's drainage there. All these drains. Come on, now the river is polluted. What, with dead fish? That water, what do you expect is doing to Johnson Park animals? Killing, that water is contaminated. What, all these dead fish washing up down at the Raritan River, that water is contaminated. And I'm not talking about no one fish due to where, what? And I thank Mr. Ron
paying attention, I could pay attention and talk at the same time, Danielle. You know, Ron Sender contacted the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection on your concerns there with the dead fish. I'm not saying that that's possible because that it is contaminated or not. But I know, being a fisherman, that there's times that fish that spawn up rivers, after they lay their eggs, they die.
I
That may be the case here, and it may not be.
I go fishing too, but like
So I
I
don't know if
said,
that's the case or not.
only time you see that is normally when it gets 100 degrees, when the water temperature gets too hot and the oxygen messes with the fish. I go fishing too, but like I said, with
That's not always the case.
with two drains right next to there and keep seeing dead fish arriving, come on, something's not right.
Well, we're waiting for DEP reply on this concern.
So while if the water hasn't been tested, what would that sorry Mayor Cahill advertise June 4th, Saturday, to have Friendly's Recreation Day to go down there and go fishing yet if it hasn't been tested?
I can't answer that question.
Yeah, what a sorry mayor, but like I tell you, that water is contaminated due to it. You know the sewage goes down there. I showed you
I
what all
don't
the
know
whole
that.
list.
I don't know that, Daniel, that there's sewage going there. I have not seen it. I don't know.
Please, you know Jersey Avenue floods, you know Joyce Comer floods. When that stream, it backs up into the sewage, doesn't it go down the drainage? Whatever goes to the drain, the street drain, it goes down there. That's what these two drains are for that I showed you.
That's a stormwater drain. I don't know if that's a sanitary.
Well, if I have to bring it to you to show you why when Joyce Comer and Jersey Avenue, which I showed you before, due to where whenever that stream floods, it mixes with the sewage and it goes down to the drains. And like I said, it all ends up to the river. If you haven't been to the river, eventually, who knows how many months, you will see how dirty it is. Like I said, if you could waste $4.5 million on a dock that's still collecting garbage down there, but like I said, God bless Mr. Ron Sanders for working with me on his own time, off shift, with his cell phone, taking me seriously. Like I said, God bless him. I wish there was more of him up here to listen, to take it serious. Get those animals out of there. You can't tell me, like I said, this water is not contaminated.
I can't say that. I don't have any tests.
Well, you go down there, you'll see how stinky it is, how it stinks down there. Why don't you take a walk down there then? See all the garbage in there. With the city, he still won't hire workers to clean down there, even though they just did a cleanup, a partial cleanup. But you have concrete, blacktop, everything. That river's gonna flood again. Why is he allowing dumping there where the old police department used to be? Maybe I bring you the pictures of those at the next meeting. You know what I speak of. I provide evidence.
Danielle, I asked Dr. Jan Lovey from the DEP to contact you directly about this matter. The state's the caretaker of the river. She's going to be reaching out to you directly to find out the specifics, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Charles Cradaville once again. Very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, including my own. Mr. Director, what do you think about having remote participation in these meetings? Obviously,
I'm sorry.
remote participation, like meetings were on telephone for a long time. Some towns are allowing people to call in remotely, and also still have the in-person gathering. Is that something you'd be open to?
No.
Why is that?
Because we have public meetings and they're open that people can attend if they'd like.
Except for the year when you weren't doing that. But
Well, we were very cautious at that time. I mean, the world didn't know how to react to this pandemic, and we had to still conduct business here as a county government. So we were making every effort to be able to have our government function and have our public have input. So now that the restrictions and hopefully, God willing, the pandemic eases, you know, that's why we started coming back here, and we felt that this is in the best interest of everyone. We, you know, we have our.
I don't disagree that it's good to have the gathering. I want to also be able to participate remotely. People who maybe can't make it here by 7 p.m. on the same night that they need to be. I'm able to call into Perth Amboy City Council from my desk in New Brunswick. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. And I think if you really want participation, you should offer both. That's
Well, we
my
can,
opinion.
you know, we still have emails, and we have office phones that people can talk
Are you
to.
going to take this out of my time, or?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, then I'll continue. We have a building here called the Wellness Center. It's basically a 12-story parking deck with an abandoned supermarket in it. County taxpayers are paying the rent on that abandoned supermarket. It's supposed to become, get this, the new headquarters for the prosecutor's office, or a new office for the prosecutor's office. I don't know how that fits into a wellness center, but that's what we're getting. But if you walk past it on your way out of here tonight, you'll see no activity. Why are we paying rent for a building we're not using, and when is something actually going to happen there?
Well, we signed that lease back last July, I believe, and with the intent of being able to move there on January 1st, and that's when the rent begins and began. The reality is, with everything else that was happening in the world, the supply chain went upside down, and unfortunately, many of the materials in order to retrofit that building are not available. So unfortunately, we find ourselves in the situation that we're in. And it's not just the equipment, it's relative to construction equipment, it's technology equipment, all that goes in that building. And for further clarification, it's not just the prosecutors, but it's also the costs that will be in that building as well.
Thank you. The one good thing in that building was that the Fitness and Wellness Center was going to have a pool, and as a token gift to the people of New Brunswick, the kids in the schools were going to get to use that pool to learn how to swim. That went on and then stopped with the pandemic. My understanding, that has not resumed. Are the kids swimming in the pool? County taxpayers pay for this pool. Didn't you chip into the wellness center? Didn't the county chip in? Mr. Rios, you were there at the ribbon cutting, remember?
I've gone to a lot of ribbon cuttings. That doesn't mean that the county sponsored these
The county
different.
did chip in, and specifically cited the pool.
We'll double check
We'll have
that.
Okay. I got to ask about the Livingston Avenue bus stops with no shelters. I know we talked about this before. I was at the traffic commission across the street today, and they said that it was the county that they were waiting on to complete the application to NJ Transit for them to be able to install the shelters. Is there any holdup? What's stopping us from getting these shelters installed?
I'll look into it, Charlie. My understanding was the city was waiting for the signed agreement, and New Jersey Transit would act once they got the signed agreement. I furnished that a month ago, but I will look into it a little further.
Okay, yeah, no, I think you've done your part now, but I don't know what the holdup is now, because the city says they did their part a year ago. You say you did your part a month ago. What are we waiting on now? The state?
Let me get you some clarity. I don't have an answer.
And just more broadly on bus service, what happened to all the bus routes? They've been taken away and really cut back drastically. I know there was a pandemic, but the county used to run some good buses around town, and I know that there's been cutbacks. What are the plans to restore the service?
So,
Mr. Director, as part of our Destination 2040, we're doing a detailed analysis of the demand for our bus routes with New Jersey Transit as part of our plan forward together. So we should have that, as I mentioned last meeting, somewhere around July this year. We're working with New Brunswick on that also.
Okay, follow up.
Time's up.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.